Sometimes you have to work really, really hard to come up with a good idea. And sometimes, when you're supposed to be studying chemistry, a good idea just falls on your lap. This story is pretty self-explanatory. My buddy Daniel and I found a drinking fountain on Facebook and we went and picked it up. The plan was really simple. Take the drinking fountain and hook up a 12-volt RV water pump to it. That way anything we put in this bucket would be pumped through the entire system. The idea was to be able to take this thing to any school event and run whatever type of liquid we want through it and be the life of the party. Imagine showing up to a tailgate with 5 gallons of chocolate milk and a drinking fountain. Like, that would be pretty sweet. Once we knew that it would work, we decided to make it look good. This is where the story takes an interesting turn. We decided to use Gatorade for the next rounds of testing because it was relatively easy to make and it's basically just water. Well, we could not have chosen a worse option. The first indication of disaster was the taste. Drinking the Gatorade straight from the bucket tasted totally fine. But when you drank it from the fountain, it was super bitter and had a terrible aftertaste. And then after about 3 or 4 hours after we had tested the thing, everybody who drank from it threw up. So, yeah. It took some serious investigation to figure out the true cause, but the short answer is chemistry. It was chemistry, man, and if I had just paid more. Okay, so let's back up. One of the first things that I noticed about this drinking fountain when I first picked it up was this really neat piece of engineering. Basically, all of the wastewater that goes down the drain is cold. So that's wasted energy that's just going down the drain. So what they do to reclaim a little bit of that energy is they run this copper tubing up and around the drain spout. That way, any cold water that's leaving the system has a chance to leach off any heat of the water that's now entering the system. And it's just a little small way to retain a little bit of energy, but that's so clever. What does that have to do with anybody vomiting, right? It's the copper. I did a little bit of Googling and I found this paper that compares 16 different beverages and how well they react with copper. Gatorade is an outlier in every single one of the graphics on this thing. The salts in Gatorade like to dissolve copper. My favorite part is this little bit here in the conclusion. It says, the immersion tests show that Gatorade is the most aggressive beverage toward copper. Evidence for the formation of corrosion products containing chlorine was found in both immersion tests and the polarization scan. So basically, we kind of poisoned ourselves. What are you gonna do? From there, the project lost all steam. We didn't want to poison anybody. We didn't want to take this thing to school events. It was pretty much dead in the water. And then we had a stroke of genius. True Aggie night. According to USU lore and the school website, only those who kiss while sitting on the block A under a full moon can be true Aggies. What could we possibly provide in our drinking fountain that would make this experience better? How about 5 gallons of Listerine mouthwash? As finals week was upon us and we should have been studying for chemistry, we decided to go full tilt on the drinking fountain. We double checked with our professors to make sure we weren't gonna poison anybody. Alcohol doesn't really react the same way with copper that Gatorade does. We also got permission from the people who run True Aggie Night to bring the drinking fountain. Lastly, we rigged the entire thing to run off of an 18-volt drill battery. We added some LED underglow lights.
Alright, that's pretty cool. I think that'll be cool.
And we mixed up a bunch of mouthwash, which at 50-50 mouthwash to water ratio, we found still had the mouthwash burn, but wasn't as wasteful. And this time we used a safer water source than the shop sink, which had nothing to do with the poisoning last time, I promise. The poisoning was all Gatorade based. It was not, it was like... And with those last modifications made, True Aggie Night was finally upon us. Ian, what are we doing?
We are about to drive a drinking fountain full of Listerine over to True Aggie Night, where people can be cleansed before they kiss.
exciting. Scale 1 to 10.
Honestly, it's solid 8.5.
Isn't that wild? I'm ready. Scale 1 to 10, what do you say?
Like a 4. Go Aggies!